Hey guys, what's up? Oh my gosh, I have never streamed my show on YouTube before. So this will be really interesting today. But anyway, if you don't know, hi, my name is Jess. I'm a 23-year-old recent college graduate. I say that even though it was like back in May, but I'm trying to navigate through life, be there to support you in your endeavors, and like adulting and stuff. I like to talk about, coping with life after school, mental health, and self-development, as well as all things creative. And this podcast kind of acts as my therapy. So, yeah, that's why we're here today. We love it. Anyway, so I also make this like a radio station, so I play my favorite songs in between. So, yeah. Let's get the ball rolling, shall we? So, it's been a hot minute. I was working 3 jobs, as you may know from the end of last season, that, I was overwhelmed. I didn't really have time to do much. Yeah, at the end of last season, you might have noticed that, I haven't really been as present with this or as motivated to do it. Mainly, like I said, I was working 3 jobs. I didn't have any days off, literally none. Maybe 2 or 3 in the span of 3 months. So, those days were focused on other things like my laundry and household stuff. So, I know that it's kind of an excuse. If it's really important, you're going to make time to do it. But, sometimes you got to listen to your body and put your mental health first. Also, today I'm in a new location. So, this is my bedroom. Welcome. Okay. And that's because my father is working right now. I usually don't do my show this early in the day, but I feel like, you know what? We should just wake up all bright and sunny and, we can just thrive together. Also, I usually stream on Twitch. This season, I'm going to stream on YouTube, mainly because I feel like it makes more sense because this is just where the edited episodes go anyway. So I feel like it's just really helpful to have it all in one place. And also, Twitch is mainly for gaming, so people in my demographic don't really go there to seek out content to watch. I feel like YouTube is more open to that kind of stuff. But I haven't really streamed on YouTube very often or much. I don't know. I feel like when it's to a broader audience, there's a little bit more pressure there. But honestly, I still feel at home. I'm chilling. I'm vibing. Despite this long intro, we're going to get to some sort of content now. Basically, I'm going to just talk about what's been happening in my life. So, you might have remembered at the end of the last season, I was so hyped. I'm ooh, I'm going to get my car. I did. I got my car. I'm so excited. Mo is here. He's thriving. He's a Honda HR-V. He's orange and beautiful, and I love him. And I didn't really make a big deal about it when I got him initially, because I was I don't really want to brag or feel like I was kind of disregarding the state of the world by being ooh, look at my car, flashy, and all that. But, at the same time, I'm really proud of myself, and it's something that I wanted to share, but I kind of held off because I didn't want to make anyone feel bad with the state of the world. Ultimately, yeah. But I'm very proud of myself. I paid for it. I made the first official payment yesterday for paying off, because it's, financed. So paying it off month to month. I put a significant down payment on. I talked the sales guy down, and yeah, so I got it for the price I wanted to, and I'm really happy about it. It was on my vision board, so guys, the manifestation, okay? So, anyway, also in other news, one of my seasonal jobs just ended, so I'm gonna have a lot more time to actually breathe and take care of my mental health, because I feel like I was running on empty for so long, and it was really starting to take a toll on me. But I'm just very thankful for, working so hard, because I haven't worked that hard in my entire life. The last time I worked that hard, and I mean, I really wasn't under like stress per se. The last time I worked that hard was a lot more stressful, and that was my senior year of high school, which I feel like it's pretty ironic for most people, because during most people's senior year of high school, they're like, we're just gonna vibe and coast by and just get through and do nothing. Where for me, I was I was under immense stress because I was in AP Studio Art. My teacher didn't like me. She completely discouraged me and didn't like my art and made me redo pretty much every single art project that I did. Like, and I was at one point like 6 behind. We had one due every single Friday, and most of them she was like, I don't like it. I feel like it helped me kind of get better at working under pressure, because I feel like I'm now kind of good at that. Like, I don't know. When you're working under pressure, you're kind of forced into completing what you need to complete and starting and being motivated. I'm the kind of person, though, sometimes it takes a lot for me to start, but once I start something, it's a lot easier for me to just like finish it all in one sitting. I'm that kind of person. But getting me to start sometimes can be difficult, but I'm working on it, okay? That's what we're about. We're all about self-improvement. We're all about getting better, seeing our flaws, making improvements. That, however, I enjoy self-development, but at the same time, it's a double-edged sword, because it's like, if you always want to continue to prove and accomplish your goals and have a direction, I feel like you take less time to like live in the present and be like, oh, I'm so thankful for what I have. But then with manifestation, it's like you have to live in the present and be thankful for the present and be grateful to get more of the things that you want. But ultimately, like, constantly chasing after like goals, I feel like is unhealthy. You know what I mean? I feel like there's some points at life when you shouldn't have any, and you should just like chill and enjoy, like, thoroughly. So I feel like at this point, I am going after all of like the personal projects I'm enjoying and things regarding my career, my life, because otherwise I feel like I've been putting it on the back burner for so long, because I've been working, at jobs that I don't particularly feel fulfilled at for like a long time. And it's like a very necessary step to like be able to now focus my attention back on my goals. So even though it was a break from me pursuing my goals, I was also just crazy busy with everything. But the holidays were great. I hope your holidays went really well. I think that it was really nice to have Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year's. It was just like my immediate family, so just the 5 of us and my dog. We cannot forget her. We love her. But I feel like having a small, intimate gathering, kind of just your family, is just like super nice. I feel like a lot of families nowadays don't really spend a lot of time together, and it's sad. My family does like family dinners. At least we try to every single night. And we all sit and eat together and have a meal. And from hearing other people's like family dynamics, a lot of people don't do that anymore. So they think that what we do is weird. And then when I think about it, like, I feel like that would be weird to just, fend for myself and eat dinner alone. I don't know. That's kind of just sad to me. So it was just super nice and low key. We didn't have to like stress about, cleaning up the house for the masses. I mean, usually our gatherings are pretty small anyway. It's usually just like my immediate family and my aunts. So that's pretty much what that was about. And, it was just a really good time. Moving on to the new year. Yes, I know it's a little bit late. Filming January 12th, this episode. So, New Year's resolutions. Half of January is already almost over. I feel like, most people are kind of in the swing of things, are already starting to lose what they wanted to do. But I feel like it's still January, so I can still talk about this, okay? Might be a little bit delayed, might be a little bit late, but I feel like I can still talk about this and it'll be okay. If it was February and I was talking about this, I feel like it would be unacceptable. I'm kidding. But I feel like it's still a good time to talk about that kind of stuff. So that's part of today's topic. Today's topic is just me discussing and reflecting on 2020 and also what I have planned for this year. What my big goals, dreams, and aspirations are. I'm kind of putting it out into the void to, in hopes of someone holding me accountable. It's like some random person being like, sending me a DM, being like, you should be doing that thing, and you're not doing that thing. And I'll be like, yes, I should do that thing because you reminded me to do the thing. Yeah, so, I know, very specific. But anyway, so that's kind of what we have planned for today. So I'm going to start with some music. We're going to have some 15 minutes of my musical selections, mainly Spotify's musical selections, because I'm going to play my Spotify 2020 rap playlist, because this is all about 2020 and the transition to 2021. So I feel like it would just be so fitting. I also had a whole episode planned about my music taste and music and everything, and so that was supposed to happen before this, but it didn't, so that might be next episode. And I was gonna share my Spotify Wrapped then and kind of discuss all my stats, because I'm a nerd. I literally make PowerPoint presentations every single year of my Spotify stats, okay? Who is that extra? Just me. Cool. Anyway, let's get on to the music. Up first, we have The Story by Conan Gray. So the first song I played was The Story by Conan Gray. Then Cigarette Daydreams by Cage the Elephant. Paradise Valley by Honey and the Sting. If you want to hear the full songs, I do a live stream of the show on my YouTube channel, so check it out. Alright guys, I'm back. I hope you enjoyed my musical selection so far. Or Spotify's. Those were some songs that I've really vibed with, apparently, in 2020. The Story. We love Conan Gray. A stan. Cage the Elephant. I don't know. Cigarette Daydreams is always a song that I just put on in the car and drive to, and it's my vibe. And then Paradise Valley is very jazzy. Not everyone's taste, but I really liked it for some odd reason, because normally I don't gravitate towards that kind of music, but it happened in 2020. So, speaking of 2020, let's just discuss how the year went for me. All right. I'm going to start by saying 2020 was a very interesting year. Out of all the years I've been alive, I'm 23. I haven't been alive too long, but I feel like it's going to be one of the most influential years of my whole life. I feel like it's a year to remember regardless if it was good or bad for you. Surprisingly for me, it wasn't the worst year of my life. And I am thankful that I can say that, because I feel like it's the opposite for a lot of people. I can't just deny what was happening in the world or be completely oblivious, but to keep my mental health in check, I had to distance myself from a lot of the news and the media, because it was just very, very negative this year with everything going on. Everything that went on. Everyone knew everything that went on. So, yeah. But I feel like this year for me, or this past year, 2020, was a really big year for transformation. I feel like I'm in a very different place from where I was in the very beginning of the year. Which is super funny, because at the beginning of the year, I was going through the hardest time that I ever did in my whole life. And that was in the months before, the pandemic really blew up. It was before the pandemic that I was actually a lot more unstable than during this whole thing, which is crazy to think about, because I feel like most people it's a flip-flop, but let me explain my situation. So, I don't know, I feel like in past episodes I may have mentioned something along the lines of what was going on with me, what was happening. So, I was in college still, which is crazy thing about a year ago I was still in college. Oh, okay. So I was, I went through a traumatic experience in 2019. I don't really want to get into it because, it's a lot to unpack there. But essentially, I was still kind of like emotionally dealing with that, and I was letting it really negatively affect me. And I was in an environment where a traumatic experience occurred, and I was being surrounded by people who reminded me of that trigger. And so it was difficult for me to really take care of my mental state and feel, fulfilled and whole and really stable enough to function, doing normal stuff and taking care of myself. It was difficult for me to do solely because I was surrounded by all these things that reminded me of it, and then you would think about the situation, and then every time you think about it, your body's hormones actually react in the same way as you reliving it, and the neurotransmitters interact in the same way. And so it's like you're reliving it over and over again, and you get in those patterns, and then you kind of spiral, right? And so I was spiraling. I wasn't treating my body the best, and it was just really hard. I felt very isolated. I felt very alone, and I'm smiling through this because it's crazy to think about how much I've changed since then. Okay, so ultimately my semester was cut short because of Rona in these streets. So basically I left school. At first I was sad because I was like, oh, I'm gonna miss my friends, and I didn't get the full college experience, and my childhood was cut short. Basically, most of my life I've been very resistant to growing up and adulting and becoming more mature and taking on responsibilities. And that's solely because when I associated becoming an adult and kind of gaining those responsibilities, I saw my joy and my freedom being stripped away in my mind, because I don't know, when I think of someone in the real world, where how I used to think about it is you grow up and then you're miserable at a job you don't like, and you feel like you're stuck there, and I didn't want any part of that. So I really resisted it most of my life for as long as possible, okay? As long as I possibly could, until I was forced to make decisions. And that's kind of just the pattern, right? So yeah. So when my semester was cut short, at first I was upset about it, because I was like, well, now I don't really have socialization. I don't really have friends around me, because, at times I didn't feel like they fully supported me through my trauma, and, did not change how they were behaving towards me. But I couldn't expect that of them. To be honest, I couldn't expect that of them, because I probably would have reacted the same way that they did, because we just weren't too close. They were people who were there, but we weren't tight. We weren't friends. And that's because I have always, in the past, had my walls up. I didn't want to let anyone in, because I was like, you're going to leave me. But that's all about my abandonment issues. We discussed that in a previous episode. I'm not gonna delve into that. But overall, yeah, that's where I was, and it was cut short. And it was a blessing in disguise that it was cut short, because I was away from those triggers. I was away from those people who reminded me of the situation that I didn't want to be in. And, at that point, immediately after my semester was cut off, I'm like, I was really feeling it bad. It was rough, okay? I'm not gonna lie, it was rough. So I took it upon myself. I'm like, I can't just go day to day living like this. I need to be able to function. I need to be able to be happy again, because I know what happiness feels like. And I mean, it's good to know what happiness feels like. So I took it upon myself to try something new. I got really, really into self-development, like 0 to 100 into self-development. I was literally religiously watching Wesley $1 Million Version, or now he's $1 Billion Version, but I was so malleable at this point that I really went from 0 to 100 really quick. I purchased one of his programs, I'm not going to say which one, but essentially I threw myself at it because it was something I haven't tried before, and I know that if you continue to do the same thing, you're going to get the same result, regardless of what it is. And I was like, I'm not going to sit and wallow and not take care of myself anymore and, let it affect me, because, everyone deserves to be happy. Everyone deserves a life. Why should I be harder on myself than I am on anyone else? I'm always the kind of person who could see the good in other people. Why couldn't I see the good in myself? So I was like, I'm going to make a change. So I watched the Secret documentary. I fell into manifestation, law of attraction, all that jazz, all that stuff. And so essentially, like I said, I threw myself at it. And in this program, Wesley was saying, for the next 90 days, you shouldn't watch any TV and only listen to, self-development talks and optimistic things, and only read positivity and all that, and only focus on, growing and doing and being as productive as you can be. Well, that can be good. I didn't ease myself into it. I just threw myself at it. I just went and I did it. And it was crazy. It was like an immediate switch. I became the most optimistic person I've ever been in my whole life. And it felt good at the time, but I was really turning into a shell of a human being. I wasn't letting anything affect me emotionally. It was just a constant state of happiness, which felt very it didn't feel human. It felt very dissociated. I don't even know how to describe it, but because of this, I was so open to any opportunities that were coming my way. I got swept up into an MLM, and I have a whole other podcast episode on that, so I'm not going to really go into depth. But yeah, ultimately, after I was throwing myself into it, I was continuing to push myself, and I worked so hard in that MLM. It gave me a sense of community. It gave me a sense of purpose and being, and I ultimately felt so happy after I felt so sad. And when you go from extreme to extreme like that, it's really not healthy. So obviously at a certain point, I went too hard. I didn't have hobbies anymore. My friends and family felt distant from me, and I was not about to cut people off who have been consistent in my life, because why? The people in your life should be the most important thing. And I wasn't really seeing that. So at a certain point, I hit a wall. I crashed. I attended this virtual convention for this whole big thing. They even said, they're like, you're either gonna really get hyped about this, or you're just really gonna know it's not for you. And I was like, this isn't for me. And I wasn't passionate. I was trying to sell products that I wasn't passionate about. I didn't like. They were overpriced, and frankly, I didn't think that they were the best for the price. And I wasn't passionate about it, and I felt like I was manipulating people, and I didn't want to feel like that anymore. So I was like, okay, ending this, cutting this off. And after that, I was at a low again. I had to really kind of reprioritize my priorities and, get my life straight. Though because of that, it forced me to get a part-time job, because before that I wasn't working because I needed to pay the dues. But literally, and not to go too in-depth with MLM, but you have to pay for the educational material that they give you. They give you material to really also get you into the proper mindset. A lot of self-development sort of things. Pretty much brainwashing in a sense, but in a positive way. Like, you feel good, you feel like a sense of community, but ultimately, if, like I said, if you go in too fast and too hard, it's very detrimental. Trust me, I learned the hard way. And so, yeah, after that, the good thing about that is it forced me to get a part-time job to pay the dues. I kept the part-time job after that ended. And, I was working, and, it wasn't too much during the week, and it gave me time to really just reflect on what I just went through and kind of recover. And, it was a good thing to recover from that. I needed time to just, be there. I needed time to feel like a human again and feel the low. Even though it was up, down, up, down. Yes, it was very chaotic at that point. So, after a few weeks of coming and going, I, got back into my passions. I got back into YouTube. I got back into this podcast. And I was focused on myself and what truly makes me feel fulfilled and me feel happy, as opposed to really throwing myself into something to try to make someone else look good, because that's kind of what the whole MLM thing was about. And at that point I was like, I want to start a business for myself, not with any, because how they market the MLM is oh, you're in business for yourself but not by yourself. The thing is, if I want to build a community surrounding my own business and my passions, I can do that. If I'm not passionate about it, even if you're in business not alone, you still feel a hierarchy there. And I was I don't want to be part of that. No thanks, goodbye. But nothing against those people. If they enjoy it, they enjoy it. If it's not for them, it's not for them. So yeah, so after that, I was getting back to my roots, where it was my passions, my love for music. I was listening to music again, thank God. I was watching TV shows again, thank God. Because you can't just work to the bone all the time. I became a workaholic and it was bad. So, the next few months I kept it pretty chill. After that, around, October, I got two more jobs. Like I said, I was working seasonally for 2 of them, and then I continued with my original part-time job. And so I was working constantly, which got me back into a workaholic tendency, but it also, pushed me to be better. At the same time, though, I was keeping up with my emotional state practices. I was doing meditation. I was reading self-development books, but they weren't the entire consumption of media that I was mentally ingesting, if that makes any sense. I didn't just solely want to absorb that stuff because I know what it did to me the first time. I wasn't gonna feel this amazing high, become a shell of a human being, and then crash again. It wasn't gonna happen. And you have to have a balance, and right now I feel like I have the most balance. But this was just time for me to focus on myself and what mattered to me. And it was just so good. And it's still good. Now I feel like I'm stable. I have a sense of direction, and I'm finding my self-worth each and every day by still incorporating the self-development, spirituality kind of stuff. And that's what worked for me. Doesn't have to work for you, but everyone has their own strategies of feeling better, and that was mine. But, I really also threw myself into work to get my car, because I felt like doing that step and making that big of a purchase on something also helped me get rid of my fear of spending money. Yes, I had a fear of spending money. It ran deep. I was the most frugal person. I would not spend any money. I was okay, if I can get this as a gift, why do I need to buy it now? The only time I would spend the money is if it was a limited time sort of thing. And I was I can't get this at any other time. Might as well. And I only did that like once the whole year. So I was really committed. I was like, every single penny I'm making is going towards saving for my car. And I did it. My goal was by the end of the year to get it, and it happened. So I'm really, really thankful for that. I also began to get back in touch with my roommates from college. They were like the real people in my life. Not to say anyone else was fake, but I mean, like, I opened up to them the most, and they got me the most, besides maybe like one other person. But everyone loses touch with people, and it's chill, it's fine, we move on. But yeah, I started a program also around that time, maybe in September, maybe a little earlier, to start a virtual assisting business. And I'm kind of pursuing that right now, as well as, this podcast and my YouTube channel. I really know that now, like, I'm so blessed with, like, what I have, the skills I possess. And a year ago today, I could not say that. I was at the complete opposite end of the spectrum in regards to self-confidence and self-worth. And I now have time, because my one job ended, to really dedicate myself to things I want to do. And I feel like it was good to have some time just like me, and focusing on myself and being a little bit more selfish, because usually I would let other people kind of dictate what I wanted to do, who I wanted to be. And now I'm starting to really like not give a crap about anyone else's opinion of me, because why should that matter? Like, if I'm doing what I want to do and it's going to make me happy, and I'm passionate and I have passion behind what I'm doing and what I'm going for, I feel like you can really get anywhere if you have, the desire, and to contradict myself and be like, oh, I don't want to grow up and get a job and being an adult and have responsibilities. It's like, now I'm excited. Like, I'm excited to do that. I'm excited to save enough money to move out and take the next step in my life. I'm excited to go deep into my career and really, like, get all in there. And, like, it's solely just a matter of going and doing things that you thoroughly enjoy and following your truth and living in free will and doing what you want to do. Because the one thing that I believe deep down to my core is that the day I feel stuck at a job and I need it for stability, and the day I complain every day and it feels like life is blah, and, it's kind of just like, whatever, is the day I emotionally die. I don't want to emotionally die in this lifetime. So I'm going to always keep myself on my toes and continue to pursue different things. And, like, it makes me feel whole to create things. That's why I have this podcast. That's why I have my YouTube channel. That's why I make art. That's why I spread my message, I guess. That's why I talk. And a year ago, I would be like, you don't deserve a platform. You don't deserve a voice. But, like, literally everyone deserves to share their opinion and be themselves. And, I feel now that I'm empowered to do that. And I hope I can inspire you to feel empowered to do that and live in your truth and do what you want to do. Because there's going to be people in your life who don't fully get it, who don't fully support you. And you have to learn to come to terms with that, And then there's going to be people in your life who, fully support you and are so positive and you feel like you're being wrapped in a warm hug. Those are the people you need to keep around you. Because people who are going to talk down about your big dreams and, try to bring you down to earth and make you feel all practical. Yes, there is a time and a place for practicality, but you shouldn't talk someone down until they've actually tried to pursue what they wanted to do. You know what I'm saying? It's like discouraging. You're trying to make them fit into society's mold of who you should be and what you should do, and you're not letting them fully creatively express themselves. It's like being withheld. I don't know. That's my 2 cents. But anyway, we're going to get back to some more musical baps, and then I will talk about my 2021 goals if I haven't ranted on long enough. So, all right, here's on to music. Achy Bones by the Happy Fish, Read My Mind by Catfish and the Bottlemen, as well as 21 by Jenna Holiday. Okay guys, as always, I hope you enjoyed my musical selections because, you know, we honestly love it. We love to see it here on Jess in the Flesh. So, anyway, 2021 goals. Now, I'm just going to get into what I want to do this year, what I want to accomplish, okay? So, ultimately, I have them all in separate categories. So, I'm just going to start with my personal goals. Now, well, for starters, I want to make more time for my hobbies. I like to paint, play the ukulele, fun stuff like that. Because of all of this working I've been doing, I haven't really prioritized my hobbies. And that's something I feel like I should do more often. And, you know, it's always good for the soul. You feel? I also want to just do something creative every day. Something that makes me think and do and make things. Because that makes me feel fulfilled. That makes me feel happy. Regardless of what I'm creating. If I am pretending to be a master chef one day and I create a meal that it doesn't have a recipe, creating, you know, or if I just create a trail of crumbs from snacking, potentially, I'm kidding, not that, but you know what I'm saying. I also want to read one self-development book every single month. Right now I'm reading Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself by Dr. Joe Dispenza, I believe. I'll put the name on the screen. Ultimately, it's super, super interesting. It's about the science kind of behind how we fall into habits and why we fall into habits. And also how we can change our thinking to affect our subconscious brain and how the neurotransmitters continue to fire in similar patterns, even if we want to, like if our mind's saying, oh, I want to make a change and accomplish this goal, sometimes our body and our mind don't work together, so the body's neurotransmitters fire in the same way as they always have because of habits. And so that's why it is quite difficult to break bad habits. So it's kind of talking about that, but also talking about the power of not manifestation, but like meditation and how you can change how your brain functions so then you can achieve your goals. It's really interesting, but it's very dense. So if you're not into dense reads, I don't recommend. But if you are, it's super fascinating so far. I'm about halfway through right now. So next, career and money. I just categorize these together because, you know, your girl felt like she needed to. Don't come at me. So, one of my goals is to have a full-time income, whether that be from a full-time job or my business that I'm trying to grow or a combination of a part-time and some. I just would like to have a full-time income. You know? Because I feel like it's a good step in the right direction to kind of figure out my career, the path I want to go in life, and see what really truly drives me and fulfills me. Right now, I am gearing more towards a job in graphic design or digital marketing. I prefer to work remotely, so then when the time comes for me to move out, I'm able to move wherever. I'm currently based in New Jersey, hella expensive. And if you saw the news, it said it was the most popular state to move out of. So, love that. So, yeah. I don't know where I want to move to. Potentially down south or out west. I really don't know. Like, I can see myself living in the Midwest. I've had a fascination with living in Seattle for some reason. Might live there for a little bit. And, at some point I want to do like a cross-country road trip. So it would be very helpful to work remotely so I could still work while I'm doing my road trip and experiencing, not the world, but like the country, I guess. So, yeah, that's why I'd also want it remote. This year I also want to actually fully launch my virtual assistant business. It's called Jess in the Flesh. I'm kidding. This is a podcast. It's called Refresh with Jess, and I like refresh small businesses, brands, YouTubers, branding, and help them, really be able to share their message through visuals. Like I said, branding, design, video editing, offer those kind of services, and also some gen admin stuff if that upon request. I'm not really trying to fully do that kind of stuff because it doesn't bring me as much joy or fulfillment, but it's still fulfilling to help other people try to build something and grow. So, yeah. I'm planning on launching that maybe by the end of February, potentially before that. I need to pick a tentative date. I haven't done that yet, and that's something that I plan on doing soon. So, in regards to money, I just want to make like full-time, save it. And I told myself that I would be out of here, blow this popsicle stand by 2 years after I graduated. So year 1's coming up. So I have like a year and a few months to really save up and move out. Wherever I move to, I don't know, but I do want to save up also for a townhouse or a single family home, because I'm the kind of person who has so many different hobbies, so I want like my own little spaces for different things. Like, I want my own little like room for my studio, my own little workout room, my own little office space. I feel like that'd be so dope. And even if it was just me in a single family house, we love that. But also I was thinking about a townhouse, because with a townhouse, like I don't have to do the yard work. And, it would be better if I had a dog. Because I'm definitely going to get a dog. I'm also going to get a cat at some point. But, yeah, I'm not going to get a dog until I'm living in a place with a yard. Because having a dog in an apartment just seems like a lot, okay? So I would rather just them be able to easily access nature if they need to do their business. We love that. Also, YouTube goals on my main channel, youtube.com/JessWyse. I really want to get 1,000 subscribers. I feel like that is an attainable goal. I also want to get monetized on there. I've been on YouTube on that channel for like 5 years now, 5-ish, almost 6, and it hasn't really gone anywhere. I made an entire podcast episode about why it hasn't, but I feel like this is the year that I'm going to be fully committed and post weekly and really go all in on that. It's a good creative outlet that I have because it's work, but it still forces me to do things and have fun. Like, I don't know, because I feel like sometimes I don't take enough time to, like, have fun. And so, by doing something creative, but also productive, while also just, like, goofing off and having a good time with my little 12-year-old boy sense of humor, like, it's so nice. And I enjoy it, and I feel like it's super, super attainable. Right now, I have, like, 400 and I don't know. I have over 400 subscribers on there. So I feel like it's attainable. I think I can do it. So yeah. Also for this podcast / radio show, I'm going to try to make new episodes weekly. I think the seasons are going to be maybe like 10 to 15 episodes. Unless you want more, let me know. But I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have maybe like 3 to 4 seasons this year. We'll see. I'm not gonna make any promises, but when I'm in season, I want to post weekly. And I'm already doing this one. I said I want to begin doing the live stream on YouTube instead of Twitch. So, accomplished. And I explained why at the beginning of this episode. So, you already heard that. Social goals. Okay. I feel like this one is going to be an endeavor for me. It's going to be a big step. Okay. All my life, at least until recently, I felt like, I don't deserve friends and no one can relate to me, and that, I'm just not a good person, and so no one should be in my life. And, between that and being conditioned with, letting certain events impact me and how I viewed friendships and attachments to people, that's why. But this year I really want to make an effort to find my people. Okay, I feel like I haven't found my people yet, and that's fine. Keyword is yet. I know that there are people out there who will get me, who have really cool personalities, common interests as me. I feel like not a lot of people in my current environment or in my life totally get me, especially since becoming more spiritual and going down a path of self-development and self-improvement, because you can't force someone to do that, and it's ultimately everyone's free will to do what they want. And I just want people who want to be better and have positive energy and are driven around me, because then that'll motivate you to do the same. And also, it's just always so good to have a support system and some socialization and just some love, just some true deep connection. Okay. And a lot of the times I feel like I just haven't experienced it yet, and I feel like it can definitely happen, and I'm excited for it. And I also wanted to start reaching out to people to be my mentor. Reach out to people who inspire me, DM them, maybe annoy them a little bit, just so they give me attention. I'm kidding, not really. But I just want to be able to continue to learn from people who are where I want to be now, right? They're where I want to be. And so I want to listen to them and their advice so then I can get to where they are now. Okay, I think I got there. So I want to start learning from these people who I deem experts and people who I'm inspired by. Yeah, because that'd be cool to have a connection going on, And networking never hurts anyone, except emotionally sometimes. But I don't think it's painful. You gotta rip off the Band-Aid. I also want to, get some guy friends. It's funny because I feel like growing up, I've only had female friends, but I feel like I would be chiller with guy friends. I feel like I'm one of the bros, but I was never actually one of the bros, Yeah. I just feel like they're more lax, they're more chill, and they would help balance me out with my my goal setting type A side of my personality. They'd help chill me out and de-stress my life and make it more fun and entertaining. So yes, I also just in general want to have more fun. I want to go and do things. I know with the virus and everything, I'm not sure how much of the world will evolve to actually go and do things, but I'm hoping at least near the end of the year I can go and do fun things and be social with people in person. Who would have thought? And so for my health and well-being goals, I want to meditate every morning. I've been doing that. I've been going strong. I feel like my day isn't complete without meditating. I just feel like it's super helpful. It just makes you calm, makes you content, makes you live in the present. And also, even if I'm doing a guided meditation and I'm, sometimes, especially when you're first starting, it's hard to like zoom in onto like what the person is trying to tell you, like what they're saying, and like really focus on that and not let your thoughts kind of cloud what, the experience, And so I sometimes get my best thoughts while meditating and not really paying attention to the person who's doing the guided thing. But I do try to do that, and it's really nice. I also wanted to script once a week, which if you don't know, scripting is like a technique where you journal in the present, but like your dream life, because your mind can't really know the difference between if it's happening now or happening, later, whatever, because you're writing in the present, so it interprets the experiences as real and you're feeling those emotions and all that. It's a whole law of attraction thing. I mean, not everyone's into it, but I feel like it helps me. It gets me in a good vibe place. I'm content doing that. I have yet to do that. I know it's 2 weeks in, and that was on my list. I may do it less frequently, maybe once a month, but to each their own. I also want to do like monthly reflections to kind of reflect on things that I accomplished this month, and also just like things I want to do to keep the ball rolling in the upcoming months. And that's going to be all in my planner, which, oh my goodness, I got a Freedom Mastery Planner. This isn't sponsored, by the way. This thing is the best, my best invest. It was like $30, but it was worth it, okay? Basically, it helps you figure out like your life direction. It helps guide you through your main goals, your priorities, things you want to focus on. And it's like, do these 5 things, accomplish these goals before you focus on anything else. And I feel like that's really helpful to me, because I am definitely the kind of person who is like, okay, I'm bored of this, I want to try something else. Then I start a new project, then I'm like, oh, okay, I'm bored of this, I'll try something else. I tend to like jump to different things before actually completing anything, and I feel like this is going to force me to be like, okay, you got to do these 5 things first to like, I don't know, complete your goals. And that's just something I struggled with in the past. Also, it just has so many different things. If you're into law of attraction, self-development, it's a great tool, great investment. They also have like undated ones, so you can start whenever. It's so dope. Oh my gosh, I can't rave about it enough. But anyway, enough about that. It's not sponsored, so I'm not gonna let it waste more time. So I also said I wanted to work out at least 4 times a week. Last week I did 3. So, not the strongest. I still did work out. I still did make my body move. But I feel like it's good to have like workout days and then not. There was also a brief time when, during last year when I was in the midst of the whole MLM thing, to try to get back on track, like after that ended, I was working out every single day. And I looked good, okay? I looked good. So we're trying to get back to that. But also not just looking good, it's about feeling good. Like I felt super good too. And so, after the holidays, when you're munching on your snacks, trying to get back into moving, grooving, eating better, the usual. I also said to drink 6 glasses of water a day. I've always been awful at hydrating myself. It's funny though, because whenever I would go donate blood, they'd be like, oh, your blood's so watery, do you drink a lot? I'm like, no, I literally don't drink water. So I feel like my body's compensating for the lack of fluids I ingest. So if I actually drank the proper amount of water, I'd probably be anemic. That's my theory, but I'm still going to try to do it anyway and see if it has any effects on me at all. In a positive way. We're hoping. I also said I'd have a daily salad. I've been sticking with that pretty well. There's a couple days I missed here and there, but I feel like doing that is good. It encourages me to eat healthy, but it's not like, oh, this is the exact amount of calories you need to eat every day. It has to be this kind of food and this amount of protein. And I feel like there's pressure in that, or saying like, oh, I want to reach this weight. You know what I mean? I feel funny about saying like, oh, I want to hit this weight. This goal, this weight is my ideal weight. Because there have been times when I've weighed more but looked better or felt better. So it's like, you can't really put a number on that. And muscle weighs more than fat. And so there's a whole misconception. But I'm not going to get into that whole tangent, because I can go on about that for a long time. So I also wanted to listen and watch more self-development content, because it does put me in a good mood, in a good place. It's very positive, uplifting, optimistic. The more you listen to that stuff, the more optimistic and happy you become. And the thing is, I'm sick of complaining about dumb things, and it's a good way to like get a hold of my emotions. I feel like I'm becoming more stoic, and I'm not as quick to, like snap. Because sometimes something like things would build up and then one thing would trigger me and I'd explode. I don't want to do that anymore. I want to be able to express what I'm feeling and my emotions, but I don't want it to be like all at once, or really just let little things affect me. I'm trying to learn how to not let little things get under my skin. Most of the time, when people treat you wrong, or, not the nicest, it has nothing to do with you. It has everything to just do with them and what they're going through. And so I have to see it from that lens and focus on that. I also really want to find a skin routine that works. Okay, your girl has been trifling through these streets year after year, and I feel like I just need to do a deep dive into watching Hiram on YouTube, the skin god, and maybe that'll help me. I feel like my skin actually has got a lot better than it used to be, but I have some scarring, I have some breakouts. Some parts of my skin are really dry, some parts of my skin are really oily. So it's like, what do I use? So I really want to kind of experiment with that, and also just take better care of my skin in general. Okay. For learning and education, I have a whole section dedicated to that, because I'm a nerd. Even though I'm out of college, I'm still a nerd, and you should always keep learning and trying new things, because life is a learning experience, and the more you learn, the more well-rounded you be, and the more things you have to pull from to engage in conversation, or just like deal with another situation in your life, But anyway, I want to complete the virtual assisting course that I started. Yes, I took a course on how to set everything up and do everything, because I wanted to. It was an investment in myself, and I am honestly thoroughly enjoying it. I'm not going to plug it because I'm not an affiliate yet, but I'm going to become an affiliate soon, and then I'll plug it. But it's super, super thorough. It goes over everything you need to do, from like, what services should I offer, to, how to package everything, how to do your portfolio, and how to like market to people. And also all the tax stuff, because I feel like that was what was the most daunting, or still kind of is a little bit daunting, but it's very thorough in how you go about doing taxes while having an independent business, or being an independent business owner. It's really, really interesting. It goes over, setting up your EIN numbers and everything. So it's really good, in depth, 10 out of 10. Very, very thorough. Everything you need to know is in there. Unless you're offering services that are like specialized. Then you can look up YouTube videos. But setting it up, doing all this stuff, Super helpful. I also want to learn to read tarot cards better. I have been into tarot for a while. I've had a couple of tarot decks for a year or two, maybe, and I really enjoy it. Okay. Here's the thing. I like to, I guiltily watch, not guiltily, my guilty pleasure is watching tarot readers on YouTube. And it's like, the more you watch them, the more you kind of pick up what the cards mean. But I have a book that kind of explains what the cards mean and how to use them in certain spreads and everything. At the same time, I feel like at least I've been doing readings for myself. Like, I'll do like a daily card pull or whatever and kind of interpret what that means to me and how that personally kind of like affects, my day and how I go about doing things. I feel like tarot cards aren't like something that's like set in stone, like this will happen to you, blah blah blah, but I feel like it's just a helpful tool to get in touch with your intuition, but also like giving you just general good advice, because sometimes other people in your life don't have your best interest in mind, and you don't know you better than yourself. So you interpreting the cards as opposed to someone telling you what they mean, very different dynamic. But I also kind of want to try reading for other people. I feel like that would be interesting. Any of y'all are open to it, let me know. I also want to reread some of my philosophy books. I love philosophy. Okay, here's why. I like it because it makes you think, and there's no definitive answer. So it's a world of possibilities, and you're just given all the possibilities. And it's like, well, it could be this, well, it could be this. It's like a never-ending problem, and it's like, I love it. And also, it just helps you open your mind to different things. And, I like to be open-minded and remain open-minded because, you never know what someone else is going through or a different perspective on something, especially if you don't have all the information. And like, I don't know, being open-minded is like my thing. I want to be accepting of most, if not all, people. So it's always good to like, practice that side of myself, I guess. I also want to learn how to read like astrology birth charts. Like, there's a whole like thing behind it, and you can go into the calendar on this specific day, this transit's happening, and this could affect. I want to do that kind of for myself, just to see like if that stuff is accurate or pertains to me in any way, shape, or form. Because I feel like when it comes to astrology, you can't just solely base someone off of their sun sign. Like, I can't stand those girls who are like, oh, you're a Scorpio, I can't date you. No, like, people are more multidimensional than their sun sign. I feel like it gets better when you go into like the houses and then all like the different, like the moon sign, your Jupiter, your Saturn, whatever, I feel like that's where the power is. Because for the longest time, it's like I never resonated with my sun sign. I'm a Leo, okay? And I feel like I resonate with it more now, but I used to be the least confident person in the room. I used to hide from people. I didn't want to be noticed or seen or anything. And now I guess I'm growing into myself. I'm getting a little bit more self-confident. But yeah, I used to really just not resonate with it at all. But hell yeah, I'm super loyal. I've always been that, so we love it. But yeah, so those are my goals. I know it's a lot, but I'm an ambitious person. So, just put it out there in the void. Please hold me accountable because, your girl can slip up. I feel like everyone can slip up when it comes to, things they intend to do and then don't do. I need to work on the follow through. Okay, I need to work on the follow through. So, anyway, let's go on with some more music, and I'll talk to you in a bit. Finally, I played Delusional by Charlie Allen, Married by the Happy Fits, and Uncomfortable by Wallows. Alright, guys, so we're on our last leg of the episode today. So, as always, I answer a question. This one is an anonymous question from ask.fm /JessWyse31. You can submit questions there if you want to, or you can DM me on Instagram at JessInTheFleshRadio. Or sometimes I'll ask on my Instagram stories there too. Also, I take song requests there, all that jazz. So if you have any song requests you want to hear on the show and want to have credit for them, that's where you go, baby. Anyway, the question today is it more important to love or be loved? I think it is more important to love. If you think about it, right? I believe in karma and a lot of if it's like what you put out is what's reflected back to you. So if you do something good for someone else is going to do something good for you. It's like a give and take. So I feel like by you initiating, like putting love out in the world, you're going to be loved, regardless. If someone loves you first, that's cool. We love that. But I feel like when you initiate it, it's just more powerful. You feel me? But, both are pretty great. Either way, you benefits. So, yeah. Anyway, like I said, if you want to connect with me on social media, you can go to @JessInTheFleshRadio on Instagram. Hit me up there. If you want to submit a discussion topic, you can comment below on the video version of the show on YouTube. If you're watching here, hey, you're acknowledged. Or if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, particularly Apple Podcasts, you're going to leave a review. Don't be shy. I read all of them, and I love it. And I appreciate it when you do. No pressure to do it. If you want to, go for it. If not, we chillin'. And yeah, so I hope you all enjoyed this episode. Thank you so much for listening and being here with me. And I hope to see you next time. Bye, guys.